Hi, my name is Chuck Middleton, and I'm a personal coach with Project Management Consulting Services, or PMCS. We teach classes to project managers who are working on getting their project management professional certification from the Project Management Institute, or PMI. You're about to hear a portion of one of these classes. The subject is scope management, and we're discussing how to handle stakeholders who break the rules. These are people who try to go around the system to get the things they want done on a project rather than follow the project plan or the established processes to change the plan.
And we have some very creative stakeholders who have found ways to go around these structures and go like right to the developers, for example, and ask them to do things. And so it's a constant battle to try to keep that in line and keep those within the scope of the project and not let that expand too fast with the random requests type things. So.
Yeah, now that's a really good point. So how do you combat that? What have you done that's been helpful?
Aside from working on trying to develop, I mean, this has happened in the past and more recent. We've tried a lot of different things. One of the newest things we're trying is a more aggressive and absolute change request plan, so that anyone with a change, before anyone can work on it, has to have this approved. So implementing and enforcing that with us underlings, so to speak, is always an interesting challenge, and making sure the project stays on track. So
yeah, and that's going to be a challenge for everybody. I mean, if you're working in an organization, what are the chances of sponsors of PMP? I mean, I think most cases that's not going to be the case. They may like the idea of hiring PMPs so they can get things done right, but then they might expect you to be a magician more than actually have principles that everybody needs to follow. And so I'd like to kind of open this up to everybody else here. Dan, you want to take it, or
around number 4?
Actually, we're talking about Steve's comment, where and it is, we are on number 4. But here's where in some cases the sponsors or other people involved with the project, some stakeholders, will kind of go around the system, like go directly to the developers and ask them to do them a favor and put some feature in that they would like to see. And have you ever had that happen? And probably the real question we're looking to answer is, have you tried something that is effective in actually curbing that?
Well, I think we used to have that more in the past when we had less of a structured organization, but as we've been building processes and company policies, that's happened less and less. And so I think the best way to get around people going around the process is to have processes in place and consequences that go along with not following those processes.
Sounds good. What sort of consequences did you have, especially if you're talking about a sponsor that's the offender?
Cost.
Well, I think one of the things you run into is a cost consequence, and you also run into scope creep, which we kind of run into later in this chapter. They ask for a small enhancement around the process, and then just kind of steamrolls into becoming 2, 3, 4, 5 different projects where they thought it was going to be something small. So not only consequences for the stakeholder or that person, but other people that need those resources as well.
Okay, good. So you've got processes in place in such a way that when they are ignored, people can see the consequences. I think that's important, because if you're disorganized enough, blame can always be placed inappropriately, and usually it comes back to the project manager or somebody that they let go or whatever. But having those in place, like you're saying, it sounds like a real good suggestion. It probably takes maybe a few generations of projects also to kind of get that in the mindset. But thanks.